A couple of months ago, we talked about the best drivers never to race in Formula 1, and in today's video, we're going to be looking at some of the most recent drivers that should have been in Formula 1 but weren't. So, of course, as always, if you have any suggestions for future episodes of this series, leave a comment down below, that's always appreciated. And let's get into this one with 5 people I think should have been in Formula 1, but they never got the opportunity, whether through money or just being no drives available. So the first person on my list is a British driver by the name of James Calado. So he had so much success in his early career. He was winning Formula Renault UK, the 2 litre classes, finishing second place in championships like the F3 Championship, the British F3 Championship, which is one of the biggest F3 championships, especially at that time in 2010. Then he made the step up to GP3 and only finished just behind Valtteri Bottas that season as well. He made a step to GP2 and had success there in his first 2 seasons, but after only 2 seasons in GP2 he decided to call it quits on his Formula 1 dream, even after finishing 3rd place in that championship in 2013 behind much more experienced drivers. He thought enough was enough, I can't follow this dream anymore, unfortunately, because I don't have the money to continue. I think personally James Calado was a lot better than drivers that came into Formula 1 like Jolyon Palmer. That's not a diss at Jolyon Palmer, I really like the guy, but in terms of flat out speed, I think James Calado was probably one of the best British drivers that hasn't got into Formula 1, especially over the last 20 years or so. And I think it's a bit of a disgrace that even though he was part of an F1 Junior program at the time in Force India, they didn't retain him. They didn't retain him going on into the 2014 season. He had to find pastures new, and that was in the GT Racing Series in the FIA World Endurance Championship with Ferrari. He's had a lot of success with them since he's joined them, so it's great to see that he's proven that he's had the talent. And since he's left the single-seater world, he's gone on to win the World Endurance Championship for the GTE Pro class in 2017, and he's won many other races as well as that, and so many other podiums. He seems to finish 3rd on about half of his times in this racing series, which is a bit insane. But of course, if you want to check out all of the full stats of James Calado, go and just look at his Wikipedia page. It's filled with podiums and firsts and seconds and thirds, so we know he's an incredibly quick guy, and he's currently leading the Asian Le Mans series in the GT class as well, so he could be set for another championship by the end of this year. So in my opinion, James Calado, one of the best drivers never to race in Formula 1 over the last couple of years, and I think it's a bit of a shame because he was within reaching distance and people with less success managed to get to Formula 1, so it's sad that someone with blatant talent didn't get the opportunity just a couple of years ago. So the next person on my list is Fabio Liuzzi, and I know a couple of people are going to disagree with this one because he did take a bit of time to win the 2nd tier below Formula 1, but we'll get onto that in a little bit. So he started his career in Formula BMW and Formula Renault, just like a lot of people do in the European side of the Formula 1 world. He didn't actually have too much success in that, to be fair, but as soon as he got to the International Formula Master in 2008 with Yenza Motorsport, he managed to finish 2nd in that championship. He stepped up another year later to win that championship and went on to race in GP2 from 2009, or the end of 2009, all the way to 2013. He won that championship in 2009 with the International Formula Masters, but then he didn't win another championship until the GP2 finale in 2011. He went on to win the actual overall championship in 2013. So it did take Fabio Liuzzi a little bit of time to get used to it, but he, by the end of it, he was very quick. He was very consistent by his, the end of his time in GP2. So his first couple of seasons weren't great, but I know myself now from speaking to Raffaele Marcello, who's one of the best GT drivers the world has ever seen. He said that in series like GP2, GP3, Formula 3, what team you're with is basically deciding how good you can really go. I mean, there's that glass ceiling. You can't really break through it, unfortunately, if you don't have the team behind you. So as soon as he got into that racing engineering, he was very, very quick. But in his first year at Ocean Racing, they weren't the greatest team in the world, and Rapax were, they're a bit an on and off team. But as soon as he got to Racing Engineering, who were one of the best teams on the grid, he had success. He finished 7th in 2012 and won it in 2013. And I do genuinely feel at the age of 24, he probably was still young enough to get into Formula 1, but his dream didn't come true, and unfortunately for him, he had to try and find some new routes in motorsport. In 2014, he tried the World Endurance Championship with Rebellion. Didn't really work out for him. He didn't have a great season, and he also did do a bit of Formula E as well, but once again that didn't really work out for him. In 2015 he was the Mana Marussia test driver, but never got to see any motorsport racing since, and I'm not really sure what happened to him, but it's kind of sad. Someone that looked like they were bound for Formula 1 sort of disappears into nowhere and isn't to be seen since. Okay, so let's speak about another driver, and that is Robin Frijns. Now, I rate this guy so much. He's such an incredibly talented driver. I don't know how no Formula 1 team ever picked him up. He's still only 27 years of age, and he feels like he's been in motorsport for so long. So, like a lot of people, as we said, he started in Formula BMW, Formula Renault, won all of those championships. He also won the Formula Renault 3.5 championship at his first attempt in 2012. He went on to race in GP2 in 2013, but didn't really have much success there because he was in a back-end car. He ended up being the Sauber test driver and then the Caterham test driver. Didn't do any races at all in 2014. Was probably hoping for a race seat with Caterham, but that never turned out. Then ever since, he sort of had to just try and find something new to race in. He sort of, since 2015, joined up with Audi, raced in the Blancpain series with them, won that on his first attempt in 2015. He also won it again, or won the Sprint Cup in 2017. He's finished second on multiple occasions as well. He's also raced in Formula E and many other championships, including DTM this year, where he's had a pretty decent first season, to be fair, getting 2 podiums. But Formula E is probably the closest to what he was doing in the past with single-seaters. He's only had 1 podium in his career so far. He's done 2 full seasons and he's sort of come back after a year out, and I think this guy is bound for good things if he has a good car underneath him going forward. We know the success that he's had in his past. He's won basically all he can win on that route to Formula 1, but nobody ever thought about picking it up. And the unfortunate thing is, I mean, I don't like to have a go at other drivers, but he was probably more talented than Guido van der Garde, and Guido van der Garde got to race for Caterham around that same sort of time, where maybe that money from the Netherlands should have been going to Robin Frijns instead. But once again, I have nothing against Guido van der Garde. He's a bit of a lad, let's be perfectly honest. But Robin Frijns definitely deserved to have that money to get promoted up the motorsport ladder to get to Formula 1, but it never worked out, unfortunately, for him. And personally, I'm quite sad because, okay, Formula E is a great series. It's probably in a lot of ways better than Formula 1 right now, but I think Robin Frijns deserved to have that chance to be that pinnacle of Formula 1, but it just didn't happen. Okay, 2 more to go on this list, and we're going back to another British driver this time, and that is Sam Bird. So, you probably know Sam Bird if you watch Formula E. He is one of the guys that is always there or thereabouts. He always ends up battling for a championship but not quite winning it. So through his junior career in Formula BMW and Formula Renault, he had a couple of decent seasons. He finished second in his second full season of Formula BMW. Well, there weren't any major standout results in his early career up until around 2009 when he won the Macau. He didn't win the Macau Grand Prix. He finished third in the Macau Grand Prix for the ART team. He then went on to race in GP2 for a couple of seasons, struggling a little bit, finishing 6th in 2011. He then made this step over to Formula Renault 3.5, which was sort of an equal level series to GP2, and he finished third in that first season. He then went back to GP2 and came second in that championship in 2013. So throughout that whole season, he was looking like he could have won that championship, but it didn't quite work out for him in the end. He finished 20 points behind the aforementioned Fabio Liuzzi. And ever since, he's taken a similar route to James Calado, who we spoke about earlier. He's went to race in the World Endurance Championship with Ferrari, and he's also done some Formula E. Just a little bit of Formula E. He's been one of the few guys that's done every single Formula E race, and he's been one of the most successful. He is probably the most successful guy never to win a championship. He finished 5th, 4th, and 3rd. I felt really sad for him because he totally deserved more success. He deserved to actually, win a championship. I think at this point, especially last year, he was very, very consistent. And I think he's only finished, when he's finished a race, he's only finished outside the points on 5 occasions, which is kind of crazy. So when he finishes a race, he's only finished outside the points on 5 occasions. That's quite incredible. And if he didn't have such a, mediocre, let's just say, last third of the season last year, I think he probably could have been in championship contention. He just really struggled, 7th in Berlin, 9th in New York, and then 10th in New York. It really sort of went away from him, unfortunately, Sam Bird. But yeah, you saw he pretty much won everything, or got close to winning everything you could win on the way up to Formula 1. But I think maybe he could have been a little bit too old. I mean, he's 31 right now, and he was battling for the championship in 2013. So 5 years ago, by the age of 25, 26, he probably was a little bit old to get to Formula 1, but undoubtedly the talent was there for Sam Bird. But like with a lot of things, maybe he was a little bit too old, and maybe he just wasn't, marketable enough to actually get into a Formula 1 team, especially like a junior team like Toro Rosso or something. He was definitely too old for someone like Toro Rosso, and I think he had links from Mercedes, and they weren't going to be giving a seat to a driver who hadn't really won a major championship in their junior formula. But the success was there, and I do definitely think he deserved to get that chance in Formula 1, even if it was with a smaller team. So the last person on my list is maybe the weirdest one I've put on this list, but I'll try and explain the best I can. So Oliver Turvey. So looking at his junior career, you might be like, okay, it's good, but it's not incredible. I mean, he finished second in Formula BMW UK, second in the British Formula 3 Championship in 2008, and then also went on to finish fourth in the Formula Renault 3.5 Championship, then finished sixth in GP2. Okay, that's a pretty good run of events, but it's all, that's all the same sort of time. He was actually doing a master's degree at Cambridge, doing a dissertation about Formula 1 aerodynamics, which is quite incredible. So he was doing his racing career alongside attending university, intending doing a master's degree, and I don't think a lot of drivers are doing that. I don't know, I could be completely wrong, but I feel like a lot of drivers focus completely on racing, and Oliver Turvey did have a couple of years. I mean, 2012 to 2014, he only did, 6-7 races, and I think that kind of showed, because, he came back and did a couple of Formula E races. It was pretty good, but, maybe people expected a little bit more looking at his career before, but he took those couple of years out, and that, in a way, could have really detrimented his career. If he'd continued on the path he was going. Even in 2011, he only did 2 races for Carlin. If he had continued in 2011 and did GP2 full time, he probably would have been battling for the championship, especially with the Carlin team as well. They're a very good team. They know what they're doing. And he'd had success, as we've been saying, second in F3, fourth in in Formula Renault 3.5, then sixth in GP2. You feel like if he stepped up another season in GP2 with a decent team, he probably would have been battling for the championship. And if he'd done that around that sort of time, 2011, 2012, there was a lot of movement in the Formula 1 market, so he might have got that opportunity, but it never happened. So let me know what you think. Oliver Turvey, maybe did he deserve to get to Formula 1? Ever since, he's been sort of racing mostly in the World Endurance Championship, Super GT and Formula E. He's definitely been one of the most consistent Formula E drivers, to be fair. He's never really had a good car, and he's always sort of got points, which is I guess fair play to the lad. He's always been there or thereabouts. So we'll be seeing what he's going to be doing in the future, I'm sure. I'm seeing this year with Formula E. He didn't have the greatest start to the season, but I don't think the Neo car's particularly great. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So thanks for watching as always, guys. Check out my university fundraiser. That's linked in the description. If you want to help out my university project and our motorsport documentary, that will be linked in the description. Any sort of help will be massively appreciated. So that'll be in the description. That's pretty much it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and it's been Alex, and I'm out of here. Goodbye.